First red flag? A 3 a.m. deposit labeled bonus. The memo line didn't match her employer. Marriage hairline cracks. Our house had a ritual hum. Coffee set the night before, her shoes by the door, my keys on the hook. We were tidy, considerate, synchronized, if you didn't listen too closely. Lately the hum had a skip. Her late meetings multiplied. The phone learned to live face down. There was a new perfume that didn't fit winter. She'd kiss my cheek and say, "Don't wait up." I'd nod and say, "Okay," because at first that felt like trust. Then one morning, I poured coffee, and a scent followed her into the kitchen. Not the expensive floral I'd given her, something sharper, like citrus left in a hot car. She caught me noticing and laughed too quickly. Test her from work. She doesn't work in fragrance. The first lie wore numbers. A random 3 a.m. deposit hit her checking account, 5 figures. She called it a bonus. I know her company's cadence. Bonuses roll in March and November, never Tuesdays at 3:07 a.m. The amount didn't match her pay grade. I asked, casual. "Big bonus?" She sipped and said, "We're lucky this year." We? Her firm had just missed targets. I tested a small boundary. "Let me see the statement. I should move some into savings." She froze a beat too long, then smiled like a teacher forgiving a child. "Babe, why don't you trust me?" The guilt landed heavy, even as the answer dodged. I backed off outwardly and started a private log. Dates, times, merchant names, small changes you only see when you chart them. The microtel came on a Wednesday. I called her to ask if she wanted dinner, and the call connected to nothing. A butt dial texture of fabric and murmur. Her passcode changed that night. "It made us," she said. My company hadn't. Hers hadn't either. I checked their policy site without logging in. Her calendar sprouted conference travel to a city her company had no presence in. She said keynote. Their press page said nothing. I didn't accuse. Not yet. I wrote down the flight times and the hotel name she dropped like a lure. I wrote down my own pulse. I tried to reset our routine. Let's do a Friday rule. No phones at dinner. She agreed like a person signing a petition on a sidewalk. Friday came. Her screen lit up, face down, buzzing. She shifted it under a napkin. "Mom," she said, and excused herself. The call lasted 12 minutes. When she came back, she was quiet, soft, apologetic. She touched my hand. "You've been distant." That was new. My distance used as a reason for hers. I smiled and said, "I'm here." Money threads were the ones I couldn't let go. Another odd charge. A conference center that was in fact a boutique hotel we'd once joked was too romantic for work. A gift shop nearby hit her card for a silk scarf she never wore at home. Her Lyft receipts started landing later, with drop-offs at the alley behind a jewelry district that closes at 6. She came home at 8 with empty hands. I asked about retirement. Simple. "We should talk goals," I said. "Maybe consolidate our accounts, make the tax stuff easy." She lit up with the exact amount of enthusiasm that suggests deflection. "Totally. We should make a spreadsheet." No spreadsheet emerged. A week later, the first hard data point landed in our mailbox like a bird flying into a window. Bank error. A sealed envelope addressed to her, but the return address was our bank's IRA department. Inside, a deposit confirmation into her personal IRA, 5 figures. Memo. MSP Holdings. Not her company. Not a vendor I recognized. I didn't open her mail again after that. I didn't need to. The slip had slipped. The pattern started to glow. That night, I set my phone on the counter near the microwave while she plated takeout. Her phone pinged. In the reflection, a banner I wasn't meant to see. MSP confirmed. She flipped the phone, smiled at me, asked about my day, and served me extra rice like love could be salted over the edges of bookkeeping. I nodded, ate, and added a line to the log. Then I spoke one sentence aloud to the empty kitchen later, practicing. "When you're ready to retire, I have a gift." Inciting incident, the deposit slip and the vendor. I held that IRA deposit slip like it might bruise. The bank logo, her account number, the credit, 5 figures, and the memo line. MSP Holdings. I said the name out loud, rolling it around for meaning, and got nothing but the taste of bleach. I didn't open. More of her mail. I didn't need to. I called the bank from my office, neutral voice, co-owner on our joint accounts, the kind of husband who asks about consolidating. "We're reviewing our retirement picture," I said. "Can you confirm linked accounts for beneficiary overlaps?" The rep was cheerful and careful. She listed what she could. Our joint CD, my IRA, her IRA. "She has a self-directed IRA with an alternative asset custodian linked for reporting," the rep added, like she was reading a grocery item. "Alternative assets," I repeated. "Like what?" "Could be real estate, notes, private placements, precious metals," she said. "We don't see positions, just custodian of record." Self-directed IRA, a loophole that wears a suit. I thanked her, hung up, and typed MSP Holdings into a search bar. The first result was a state registry. Mailing address, a strip mall P.O. box, registered agent, an office suite company. No website, no pitch deck, just corporate lint. I mapped the agent's name. It tied to a local metals dealer 2 neighborhoods over, the one with velvet trays and a buzzer on the door, the one that closes at 6. The dealer's invoices weren't on her laptop. They were in her cloud, under a folder called Taxes, a place no one snoops because taxes make you tired. File names were bland. IMG, under a 9/4.23 BG, scan under a 4.pdf. Her scrub missed the originals. The backup still carried MSP dealer invoice sept.pdf. The invoice listed 1-ounce bars, premiums thick enough to choke on, delivery to approved depository. The custodian code matched a vault we'd used for our passports the year we took our first international trip. I layered it with her schedule. Coaching nights every other Thursday. Lift receipts to an alley behind the dealer after closing. I checked her card statements. A boutique wine shop nearby, same bottle, same nights, paired with a conference center charge that was a boutique hotel with a fireplace in every room. Their lobby had a piano. We'd listened to it once and said we'd come back. She did. The pattern wasn't just infidelity. It was asset relocation disguised as romance and retirement savvy. Metals inside a self-directed IRA are safe, inflation-proof, and hard to track. Perfect for a person who wants a slice of marital earnings tucked where discovery has to work for it. MSP Holdings wasn't her employer, but it looked enough like one on a casual glance. And those deposits hit at 3 a.m., batch windows that hide in nightly processing. I called the depository we'd used years ago as a member, not a husband. "I'm considering reopening a box," I said. "Remind me about chain of custody?" The attendant gave me the script: dual authentication, contents audits by appointment, weight logs if you request them, and custodian keys held off-site. "We don't discuss other clients," he added. Good. I didn't want gossip. I wanted process. Across the street, a week later, I watched her from my car. She ducked into the dealer at 6:12, buzzer sound swallowed by traffic. She came out at 6:39, lighter, smiling, carrying nothing. The smile wasn't joy. It was the relief of a finished chore. She sent me a text, stock photo latte, captioned running late. The foam art was a tulip I'd seen a dozen times on a coffee shop's Instagram in another city. I didn't reply. In the kitchen that night, she tossed her jacket like she'd just saved us money. "Market's scary," she said, unprompted. "We should think about diversifying." "Agreed," I said, and kept my eyes on the pan. Together, I mapped the pipeline front to back. MSP deposits into her personal checking, transfers into her self-directed IRA, purchase orders to the dealer, metals transferred to an approved depository. On paper, it was legal. If the money was separate, it wasn't. It was salary, bonuses, the overtime she insisted didn't exist, all within the marriage. Hidden is a moral word. I needed legal words. Commingled, concealment, dissipation. I didn't hack. I didn't guess. I pulled what was in plain sight or handed to me, and I copied nothing I didn't have access to. I took photos of mailers addressed to account holder with the corners torn by machines. I wrote dates and exact phrasing. I learned the dealer's closing rhythm. I learned the custodian's hold music. I learned that the vault we'd chosen back when we still shared passcodes was on her route again. A few nights later, she offered movie night. I offered budgeting. "Let's plan our retirement," I said, and she kissed my cheek like a prize. I marked that kiss too. It fell on the same evening and MSP credit posted at 3:04 a.m. By then, the motive had shifted in me. Not just who she loved in hotel light, but where our money slept and who held the keys. First try, direct talk, that backfires. I started soft, like couples do when they still want the story to be salvageable. Sunday eggs, sun through blinds, her hair in a knot. "We should talk retirement," I said. "What do you want our 70s to look like?" She smiled the way people smile when they think they're being graded. "Beach, books, you and me not worrying." Her hand slid over mine, warm, practiced. "We could hit that if we simplify," I said. "Roll things together, one map instead of 5. She brightened too fast. "Yes, we should totally consolidate. You know, like those TikTok finance people say." She laughed at herself, and at me, and at a phantom internet guru we could both safely mock. "Diversify, but not like gold bars in the freezer," she said, eyes on the pan. "Metals can be smart inside a plan," I said, neutral. "Custodian, depository, all that." She flicked the burner off. "Babe, please. TikTok nonsense. People get scammed." She kissed my temple and moved past me. It was affectionate and evasive at the same time. like a magician's offhand pat before a reveal. That afternoon, I tried being specific. What if we moved part of ours into a joint rollover? Cleaner taxes, fewer logins. You hate logins. She went gentle. Penalties, timing, all that. We should wait. The market's twitchy. Her voice did the soothing thing she uses on difficult clients. I'll book time with HR next week. Okay, I said, like I believed there was an HR that handled self-directed anything. That night, she set out wine and candles, a reset. We haven't connected, she said, walking fingers across my arm. I miss you when you're spreadsheeting. I'm just trying to make sure we're good, I said. Together. She nodded and then tipped the balance. Sometimes you feel controlling. She let it land and then reached to catch it. Not in a bad way, just intense. Her eyes glossed, not crying yet, the promise of crying if it would steer the room. I'm asking for transparency, I said. It's not control to know what we own. She looked at the table. I'm doing the best I can. Work is frying me. Can we not interrogate dinner? We ate. We tried a show. Her phone faced down the coffee table like it needed a nap. During a quiet scene, it vibrated twice. She didn't twitch. Third buzz, she exhaled. Mom's been anxious, she said, picking it up, eyes not on me. I should call her back. Go ahead, I said. She stood, moved toward the kitchen, and lifted the phone. The glass met the microwave door at the perfect angle. The reflection showed the banner I wasn't supposed to read. MSP confirmed. She swiped it away in the reflection, then put the phone to her ear and softened her voice into daughter mode. Hi, Mom. When she returned, she was the version of herself I fell for. Soft, curious, funny. She curled against me and traced circles on my palm. We're okay, right? She asked. I said yes, because I wanted the sentence to be true in that room. Over the next days, I floated practical moves. Tuesday, we could go to the bank, sign a rollover. She nodded and kissed me instead of answering. Thursday, I tried. I'll bring the statements. Thursday's coaching night, she said, and kissed me again. I'll be late. I didn't push. I adjusted the angle. You know how my IRA's with a custodian that's decent but slow? I said. I found a better one. If we mirror the setup, it'll be easier. She smiled like I had asked her to split dessert. Baby, that's your world, she said, tapping my forehead. Spreadsheets and forms. I trust you. I want you to be in the room. I am, she said, and pressed her palm to my chest. Right here. When seduction didn't quiet the questions, she tried contrition. Saturday morning, she brought coffee to bed. I could have looped you in sooner, she said, work-wise. Her voice softened. You're my person. Then show me, I said. One afternoon, we pull everything up and make a plan. She nodded, eyes big. Yes, after this quarter. It's chaos. I let it go on the surface because I needed the wave to crest. On Monday, I booked a meeting at our bank to discuss rollover options. Tuesday night, I slid the email across the counter. 10 a.m., Friday. They'll prep the paperwork. She scanned the subject line and set the phone down with a tiny click. I have a client Friday at 9:30 that could spill. Push it? We'll miss the window. Babe, she said, voice low, almost a whisper. Do you trust me? There it was again, the word she used like a trap. I didn't step in. I'm trying to build something that doesn't require trust to function. Her eyes flashed. That's a horrible way to talk about a marriage. It's a good way to talk about accounts. The air thinned. She stood, wrapped her arms around herself. I feel judged. I feel excluded. I kept my voice even. Let's fix it. She came close, set her chin on my shoulder. Let's just be us tonight, she said, soft. No money. I want you. I wanted her too. That was the problem. I let the night blur on purpose, filed the choice under reconnaissance. Even tenderness can be data. The next morning, I made eggs again and tried one more direct ask. Pull up your IRA dashboard, I said, casual. I'll show you mine. She smiled like I'd told. A dirty joke. Later. I'm late. Her phone buzzed. She tucked it into her bag. Love you, she said. I watched the door close and finally accepted the answer she wouldn't say out loud. Direct talk had turned into smoke. Reassurance, then diversion, then guilt, then skin. Every tactic worked except the truth, so I pivoted. If her language was misdirection, mine would be documentation. If she moved in shadows, I'd build lamps. If talking gave me gloss, I'd go quiet and count. Rising action. Mapping the money. I built a wall of dates before I built a plan. MSP credits at 3:04 a.m., 3:07 a.m., 2:59 a.m., batch windows that rhyme. Dealer pickups every other Thursday, timestamps just after closing. Her Lyft receipts didn't say jewelry district. They said cross streets and a back alley that dead ends behind a metal door with a nondescript buzzer. I plotted pins on a map until the pattern looked like a heartbeat. Parallel spins told the story she didn't. Conference center charges that were actually a boutique hotel with a pianist who only plays Thursdays. A wine shop 2 doors down, same Malbec, 2 glasses worth missing whenever she came home late and unhungry. A gift boutique receipt for a silk scarf I never saw, and a set of cufflinks I never wore. The cufflinks told me there was a hymn, not just a habit. I cross-checked her boss's calendar, which she once shared with me to brag about a promotion. The public blocks marked off-site leadership mirrored her coaching nights. He was in Chicago when the pianist played our city's lobby. If I sounded jealous in my head, I wrote timeline alignment instead. Precision keeps you from drowning. I studied self-directed IRAs until my eyes burned. Custodians versus administrators. Prohibited transactions. What qualifies as IRA-eligible metals? The language makes you sleepy on purpose. I opened my own self-directed IRA, funded it clean, and chose a custodian with actual humans on the phone. I asked every question twice. Where do the metals live? Who holds the key? How do you record chain of custody? The banker friend I trust translated. The custodian says yes or no. The depository holds the bars. Your access is a key and a log. The log doesn't lie. People get sold on the idea their gold is safe because it's heavy, he said over lunch. It's the paperwork that's heavy. That's what counts. The depository he mentioned, the one with the vault we used once for passports, sat like muscle memory in my brain. We'd rented a box there when we were still a team. I called and acted like a man who loves process. If I request weight logs, do you record by bar and serial? The attendant said yes with an appointment. Can an audit compare ledger totals to actual contents? Yes. If I add a co-renter, does each access get timestamped? Yes, both key and ID. Good, that was my scoreboard. I seeded the path to a gift. Anniversary coming. Money on the table. She always liked ceremonies around milestones. I sketched a joint asset schedule on paper. My retirement, her retirement, the house equity, the emergency fund. I left a space labeled Metals Depository, blank on purpose. Blankness invites confession. If she filled it, we had a different story. If she didn't, the blank would be evidence. I started buying knowledge I could use. I purchased a sealed IRA-eligible bar through my new custodian and logged its serial number in 3 places: the custodian's purchase sheet, my notebook, and an email to myself. Then I sourced a dummy, tungsten cord, weight perfect, dressed in gold plating and plausible stamps. Detection-proof for amateurs, obvious under ultrasound. I didn't need to fool a refinery. I only needed a mirror she would believe for long enough. I drafted a spousal waiver letter that sounded like tax boredom. Standard consent to roll assets for efficiency, acknowledgement of separate custodians, agreement to depository protocols. It was true in every word and lethal in arrangement. She has a habit of signing anything that reads like HR. While the paperwork simmered, I tightened the map. I matched her Lyft trips with the dealer's posted holiday closures and found one night she circled the block and left. No buzzer, no pickup. Right when the dealer was dark. That meant she wasn't just browsing. She was picking up orders. I watched the alley camera reflections in shop windows, catching a glint of her bracelet, the one I'd bought for our 5th anniversary. That hurt more than I expected. I added the hurt to the log anyway. Clean records include the parts that make you shake. I checked the depository's tenant list the way anyone can, by reading the shared notary calendar taped to the front desk window. Names redacted, firm names visible. Her custodian's name appeared on Thursdays twice in a month. I didn't need to connect it to her. The pattern already had. Across town, unaware I was 3 steps ahead, she texted me a meme about gold bugs. I sent back a thumbs up and set a meeting at the depository for our diversification talk. I framed it as romance. Let's put something solid in the vault, I wrote. A tradition. She replied with a heart. Greed is a strong solvent. It stripped away her caution faster than my questions ever did. I wasn't just hunting her stash. I was building mine where every gram could be traced. I rolled a slice of my retirement into metals through my custodian, shipped directly to the depository, recorded by serial and weight. Control moved without noise. No shared lines of credit were exposed. No joint card stayed open. I quietly removed her authorized access to my personal cards and froze the joint credit line with the courtesy notice the bank would mail to both of us. Paper trails that say, I acted, I notified, I didn't hide. Every 30 seconds, I asked myself if I was escalating or just stewing. Then I added one more layer, a request to the custodian for transaction verification on anything labeled MSP. I didn't accuse, I asked for routine reconciliation. Bureaucracy moves like lava, slow and unstoppable. If there was smoke, they'd see it and log it. By the time the anniversary invitation hit her inbox, the pipeline was mapped. Money to MSP, MSP to metals. Metals to depository. And me, waiting at the end of the tunnel with a velvet pouch and a ledger that wouldn't blink. The gift setup. Chekhov's lockbox. Our anniversary crept up like a test I knew the answers to. I cooked, I cleaned, I set out the good plates. Then I set the stage. You said diversify, I told her over dessert. Let's do it for real. Together. I slid a calendar invite across the table like a ring box. High security depository. Joint appointment. A tradition, I said. We put something solid away, then dinner. She lit up. Not romance. Anticipation. Finally, she said. You're speaking my language. I called the vault first, asked for all the theater. Contents audit available. Yes. Bar by bar waits on request. Yes. Notary booked. Yes. I paid for the private room because rituals deserve velvet. Then I built the prop. 2 keys in a velvet pouch. Hers and mine. Same brass, different secrets. Hers opened the box. Mine held the code the attendants used to pull the weight log. I placed the sealed, IRA-eligible bar inside. Serial inked, paperwork crisp. Next to it, the dummy bar. Tungsten heart, gold skin, good enough to fool anyone who wants to be fooled. I logged both serials in my notebook, but only one in the official schedule. The schedule became our script. I typed up a clean asset list for the meeting. House, cash, my rolled IRA positions, the new bar's serial number. One neat line read, Joint Depository Holdings, see attached ledger. The ledger showed everything but her MSP pathway. Blank space where her secrets should live. Blank space is louder than numbers if you let silence do its job. I wrapped the legal in boring paper. The spousal waiver letter read like oatmeal. Consent to roll qualified assets. Acknowledgement of custodian rules. Agreement not to encumber or pledge depository contents without mutual consent. Every word ordinary. Every sentence a hinge. She signed 100 forms like it. She'd signed this one before the wine warmed. We took a walk that Sunday, the kind couples post about.